Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you.
A River in the Desert. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Step by step, the Israelites hiked over the sand and rocks. God's cloud in the sky led the way through the desert, but the desert was still hot and dry. With every step, the Israelites got hotter and thirstier. Day after day went by, and they didn't find any streams or pools of water. They started to complain again. "Moses," they shouted, "where are you leading us? We're going to die of thirst." Moses answered, "Do you think God brought you out of Egypt to let you die in the desert? Why don't you believe in him?" Then Moses prayed and asked God what to do. God said, "See that big rock? Stand beside it and strike it with your walking stick. There will be enough water for everyone." When Moses hit the rock, water gushed out like a waterfall. Soon a river of water was flowing across the sand. Every person and every animal had plenty of water to drink. As the long, long line of people hiked on and on, the faster and stronger ones moved to the front. The older and slower people ended up at the back. Suddenly, they were attacked. A tribe of people called the Amalekites didn't like all these strangers hiking through their land. Because all the strong men were near the front of the line, there was no one to protect the people and fight back. Moses called for Joshua. "Joshua, gather some of the strongest, bravest men and stay back to fight the Amalekites. I will stand up on that hill and hold out the walking stick God gave me. I know that God will bless you and protect us." Joshua had seen God use Moses' stick to do miracles many times now. He wasn't worried. He gathered his men and went to fight. As Joshua led the fighters, Moses climbed to the top of the hill. Hur and Aaron climbed up with him. When Moses held up the stick and prayed for God's help, Joshua attacked. Even though the Amalekites had sent many fighters, Joshua's men were winning the battle and driving them back. But Moses' arms got tired and he lowered his stick. Suddenly, the Amalekites began to win. They began to drive Joshua and his fighters back. Quickly, Moses raised his arms again and Joshua's men started winning. As the day went by, Hur and Aaron could see that Moses was getting tired. They dragged a big rock over to him so he could sit down. Then, when Moses was too tired to even hold up his hands, they each grabbed one of Moses' arms and held it up. They stayed there beside him and held up his arms until the sun went down, and Joshua and his fighters won the battle. By now, the Israelites were near Midian, where Moses lived while he was watching Jethro's sheep. Moses had married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah. Moses had sent Zipporah and their 2 sons back to her father's house when he began to lead the Israelites away from Egypt. Now Jethro came to meet Moses and hear about all the things that God had done. Zipporah and the boys came with him. They spent all evening sharing stories about the things God had done. After a night of feasts and praising God, Moses got up the next morning to hear the people's complaints and solve their problems. When Jethro saw that Moses helped the people all day long, he said, "Moses, why are you doing this? Are you the only one who can help these people with their problems?" Moses said, "They come to me for help and answers. I decide who is right and who is wrong when they disagree. I try to teach them God's laws." Jethro shook his head. "You can't do all this yourself. You're working too hard. You're going to wear yourself out. I think you should choose wise men to be leaders of the people. Let each group of 10 families have a leader who handles their problems. Then make leaders for groups of 50 families, 100 families, and 1,000 families. They can solve almost any problem that comes up. Then you'll only have to solve the biggest problems." Moses must have smiled. "I'll do it," he said. From then on, Moses only had to deal with a few of the biggest problems. He could spend more time with his family, and he could spend more time with God, learning to lead his people. So God continued to lead the Israelites and keep them safe. He gave them water when they needed it, and protected them from their enemies as they followed him across the desert.
The story you have heard today is from the Shoebox Kids Bible Stories, written by Jerry D. Thomas and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.